This is episode 366, recorded July 22nd, 2016. Packard pokes at cramming religious nuts in tiny balls. I want to thank Torvo Wren from the chat room for this week's show title.
What time is it? It's Packard pokes at time. Hat? Check. Shirt? Check. Pants? Optional. Mug? Double check. Check us out at cafepress.com/PackardPokesAt where you can get all this great merchandise and more.
Do you like Packard Pokesat and want to hear it on demand and on the go? Download the free app today at Stitcher.com. Available on iOS, Android, Nook, and iPad.
This is Packard Pokesat, and I'm poking at your news.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another fine edition of Packard Pokesat. I am your immutable and unmutable host, Packard Sonic. And joining me from the far west coast is Connie, Practical Magic 9.
Hey, I've been thinking maybe we should petition and get Packard Pokesat to be a Pokemon.
Actually, if I was still playing this game, I could set up my own gym somewhere, and I could make myself a Pokemon, I suppose.
The Poke Gym.
I could make the Packard Pokesat Poke Gym.
Sonic, and so Sonic, I don't know, would that be an electric type?
It would probably be electric. I would think it'd be electric.
Yeah, I would think so
if somebody
too.
does that, send me a picture. I would love to see it.
There you go.
You can do it in my honor or something, I guess. If you want to. You don't have to. I'm just saying.
Awesome-tacular.
Down in Kentucky, a couple of people went to go get married, and the judge there said, "Verboten! I not do it." That's not quite what he said, but it was pretty close to that, actually. An atheist couple are claiming discrimination because the judge, Executive Hollis Alexander, he says, well, when I do my ceremony, I include God in my services, because I say, and God shall not render them to apart or whatever. A lot of people do that. A lot of judges don't really care. They say, hey, if you have your own vows, do your own vows. But this particular judge apparently forgot what the separation of church and state was. I guess he missed that class or just didn't know this thing or whatever. I don't know. But the FFRF had to spank him a little bit and say, hey, you can't do that. Apparently, somebody had called and talked to him, and he said, yeah, I'm not going to marry a secular couple. And I said, I'm going to flat out refuse to marry them if I can't say, God put you together because, my religious belief. And on that note, he's also a bigot as well because he will not perform same-sex ceremonies as well. Even though by law, he's supposed to be able to do that. I don't know if he can flat out refuse to do them. I don't know, but at least they have spoken to him and said, or at least sent him a letter saying that, if somebody comes in there and they're gay, you can't refuse them on this point because the letter reads from the FFRF. It says, as a government employee, you have a constitutional obligation to remain neutral on religious matters while acting in your official capacity. You have no right to impose your personal religious beliefs on people seeking to be married. Governments in this nation, include the Commonwealth of Kentucky, are secular. They do not have the power to impose religion on citizens. The bottom line is the law. There must be a secular option for people seeking to get married in Trigg County. If you are that secular option, the default ceremony offered by your office should be secular, and people wishing to add in religion should be able to do so upon request. Not the other way around, and certainly not to the exclusion of a secular option. So let's just say he's the only judge. I don't know how big this area is. Let's just say he's the only major judge that can perform a wedding. I don't know if it's all judges or just particular judges that can do this. But if he's the only judge and they say they don't want to get married in a church, they want to get married in a courthouse, the courthouse is not a goddamn church.
No.
What are your thoughts, Connie?
Well, there must be something in the Kentucky bluegrass because, of course, this is not the same county. This is Tripp County, and they be tripping.
Yeah.
Last year, Rowan County Clerk Kim Davis was the one who refused to issue marriage licenses to same-sex couples.
Yep.
And we also have there's a lot going on in Kentucky right now. The Ark encounter is there too. But back to the judge, I think he might have missed his calling in life. Maybe he would really rather be a preacher.
Yeah. If he wants
because that's the appropriate place for this.
Right.
And
if he wants to be a preacher, if he wants to preach his religion, he can go do it in a goddamn church. He's not going to do it in the courthouse.
No. He's treating this like a mandate.
Yeah.
And it's 10 miles wrong. And people I did see a comment said, well, then they can just go somewhere else to get married. And I'm like, why should they be inconvenienced having to go to another county to get married when this is the courthouse in the place, where they reside? And or maybe it's where they're I don't know. They picked this place. It shouldn't be a problem, but
right.
And this judge actually previously had run as a Democrat, and it's just been recently that he changed it to Republican because it fits more with his Christian views.
That sounds so familiar. Where did last person who ran as a Democrat then switched parties because it's met their views? Oh yeah, Kim Davis.
Yes. Yeah, because she's saved now. It doesn't matter that she was married 4 or 5 times and divorced and everything with her because
had an affair and
Jeebus
and married the second guy that she was married to the third time. I don't know that whole situation with her. I tried to map it out and my computer started to smoke. So I was like, "Whoa, I'll take this off here, man, dude." Shoo.
I don't know. I guess I'm wondering what other, if we turn over a bunch of rocks on this judge, what will we find?
Yeah. Duck and Frog said he's a homophobe. He wouldn't go on a mandate. Mandate.
Bump. Thank you.
Yeah. I see what he did there.
He'd just give him a Christian side hug.
Yeah.
Go out and kill stuff.
Yeah. If you can't do your job, get the fuck out of the office. You don't belong there. You don't belong doing secular work. Because if you are putting your religion into your job, and you're in a secular job, you don't belong in that job. Period. I'm sorry, you just don't.
It's really hard to get these people out of office, though, I think, because their base seems to be in the same mindset, so they're electing them in there. But
I've had this conversation with Christians back and forth over Google Plus, and I say, hey, when you walk into the office, you're supposed to leave your religion at the door. It's like, why can't he do that? He should be able to do that. It's like, no, it's a secular office. Do you not understand separation of church and state? That means your presumptions of what's going to happen inside there are not based on what you believe or don't believe. It should be, you should remain neutral. You go by what the law is, not what you believe based on your religion.
Separation of church and state is as much, if not, it's equally there to protect churches, to protect the religious people so that the government's not poking their nose in and say, well, we don't like this religion because you're talking bad about us or whatever. That's why the Pilgrims came here.
Right.
They didn't agree with the Church of England, but anyway, so these people are.
What if a Muslim couple came in there and they said, hey, we want you to mention Allah? I don't know if they can do that. I don't know if Muslims can get married in a courthouse. I'm sure there's probably some that have.
They probably have to go to the local
the local imam or
exactly.
Temple or whatever.
Sorry, thank you. You saved me. I couldn't think of
That's
what
all
they
right.
would do.
They go in that building over there that says that's my religion. They can't, I don't know if there has been a Muslim couple that's tried to get married in a secular courthouse. I really don't know. Maybe it's happened. I would venture a guess it has. I mean, all things being equal, in that instance, I imagine it would have to have happened at least at some point.
Well, after the last year between Kim Davis and now this and anything else, I'm when you hear the song "Old Kentucky Home," I'm assuming it's a home for people who have dementia, and they just don't even know, anymore.
I always think of Bugs Bunny when I. In that one where he goes from the north to the south.
Oh, yeah. All you have to say is, and I'm like, yes, I remember that one.
There's this thing going on around that's taken off like gangbusters. It's Pokemon Go. I tried it out. Wasn't for me. Because, well, I just don't get it. I'm sorry, I just don't get it. I find the game boring. And that's perfectly fine. I mean, I don't have to like a thing. I don't have to like asparagus either. There's people that don't like asparagus. I don't like asparagus. But I'm not going to say, hey, you can't like asparagus either. Apparently Ken Ham thinks that, too. The day he opened up his Arc, in the same week that Pokemon Go started to really taking off. And
is it a coincidence?
Is it coincidence? I don't know.
Could it be Satan?
Could it be Satan? Right. Anyway, apparently his opening was a total bomb because he said that he was going to bring in X amount of people per year, like a few thousand per year or a million per year, and he was only had a few thousand on his grand opening on the busiest day ever. So his opening kind of bombed. The reason why I bring that all up is because Pokemon is apparently now a thing across the globe in a lot of places. I don't know if there's a lot of places that still don't have it yet because the fact is, the servers can't handle all the traffic. And when I say bomb in this instance, I mean in a literal sense. Over in Bosnia, people are playing this as well. And they have bombs underground. These are called landmines. And a lot of these landmines have not been cleared out yet. In fact, there are over 120,000 landmines still alive underneath the ground over in Bosnia that have not been cleared out yet. And people are over there playing Pokemon Go and saying, God. There's a thing over in the line field. Well, if we're real careful, maybe we can go catch our Squirtle or whatever.
They're going to need a Squirtle to put out the fire.
Yeah, they're going to need a Squirtle to pick themselves up because those things will liquefy them as soon as they step onto them or step off of them. At least 600 people have been killed in landmine accidents in Bosnia since the end of the war back in 1995. These things are still there. When we have wars and people put down stuff like landmines and whatnot, these things just don't go, oh, war's over. No, these things are indiscriminate. They don't care who they kill. It could be a kid. It could be a goat. It could be your house pet or your Pokemon Go player. It doesn't matter. It doesn't care. It's just designed to kill. Connie, your thoughts?
Actually, there was a movie with Angelina Jolie, which, one of the final things was about the landmines. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I don't even know if the people who planted the landmines know how many they have, but I guess you're gonna go get that Pokemon and just keep on going.
Yeah,
that's just really weird. I mean, I don't understand. There's so many stories like this where people playing Pokemon Go are walking in traffic. They're just so focused on their little screen.
Yeah.
Is this natural selection at work?
I don't know. I really don't know.
I hate to be. I mean, obviously, I don't wish bad on people. It's just a game.
Yeah, it's just a game. The thing is in the last 10, 20 years, people they're starting to become a little bit more homebodied. They don't see them out wandering around. Apparently, over in Florida, 2 kids were shot at because a householder thought they mistook them for burglars because they're outside the house looking for these imaginary creatures.
Yeah. I saw that one too, and
Yeah.
so
Now, for the people over in Bosnia, they are urging them, do not go into those areas where they say there's landmines. I hope these things are clearly marked everywhere, because I would hate to think you came in at an angle where there's landmines and it's not tagged properly, and you walk in there and you go, oh, squirt.
Well, what kind of an asshole would do that? Would place
It's random.
these Pokemon?
They're
there.
random. They're random. They just pop up anywhere. Seriously, these things, they pop up everywhere.
I know. See, I don't play video games.
Yeah. That's why I said I actually gave this a try. These things, they show up randomly from where your location is. You'll see on the screen, like, leaves rustling. Like, oh, there's something over there. So you'll walk over in that general direction, and then you'll find one like 2 inches from your face.
The last platform I actually completed a game, and only game I ever completed on, was on a Super Nintendo SNES. So yeah, and it was a Tetris game. So
yeah,
I mean, I'm so far behind. I try to play with different games, and I'm just, guys, I've hit my curve. This is a thing.
That's why you do this show, to keep up with the technology.
I do. I'm more familiar with the cartoon Pokemon than I am any kind of game about it.
Yeah. Dawkins' dog in the chat room says, limbs, gotta catch them all.
Jeez.
Hold on to them all. Just saying.
That's one explosive Pikachu. Right?
It's a very explosive Pikachu. That's a very explosive creature to get. So
that's the dick Pokemon out there.
Yeah.
Contact us by email at ppappodcast@gmail.com or on Twitter as @PackardPokesat. Like us on Facebook.com/PackardPokesat. Call our Google Voice and leave a message at 662-709-PPAP or 662-709-7727, and we will respond to it on the show. Friday nights at 9 p.m. Central Time, join us live at vonlive.tv/PackardPokesat. During the show, you can share your thoughts with us by calling 857-216-3200 using PIN number 35368. Or on uberconference.com/PackardPokesat. For links to the stories, visit our show page at packardpokesat.wordpress.com. You can help support the show by purchasing merchandise from cafepress.com/PackardPokesat or make a donation to the show at patreon.com/PackardPokesat. If you can't afford any money, why not share the show with your friends and rate us on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Spreaker, and on YouTube. For everyone that shares and rates us, you kick ass.
The Atheists,
The Bible.
and No Wardrobe, the podcast.
Wait a minute. No wardrobe? You mean we're going to be naked while we do this?
Well, seeing how I'm an atheist and I'm reading the Bible, and since clothes are flammable,
Fire!
I thought it might be a good idea to take them all off first.
Naked or not, follow along as we read, analyze, and try to keep you from falling asleep as we go through this boring-ass book.
Find us on iTunes, Stitcher, and Spreaker. Who knows? We may even be on YouTube someday. Be sure to check out our second podcast, which dropped this morning, because I actually did it right. The Atheist, the Bible, and No Wardrobe. I dropped it. I dropped it like it was hot. Boom! So
and put your hands in the air like you just don't care.
And that's exactly what happened. I was like, yeah, it went out. Yeah. So I got to tell you, this is the Bible is getting pretty weird. I mean, just from going back from listening to what we've done, it's like, yeah, getting weird. Well, it is weird to begin with, but it's getting even weirder as we get. The more we dig into this stupid book, the weirder it gets.
I'm loving that we've had guests come in and help us with readings too.
Oh,
That's been really surprising and fun.
Yeah, we actually have had a few guests that come on, but you haven't heard them yet because we haven't gotten that far into the shows. So
sorry.
That's okay. No worries. But there will be guests.
That.
The show wasn't designed for guests, but we had a few come in and say, "Hey, yeah, I want to be part of this." So I'm like, "Oh, cool." So.
Well, I'm your podcast pusher, and I'm handing out samples that.
Yeah, try a little podcast.
Right?
You want to try a little podcast? Podcast, everybody.
It's a gateway podcast.
It's a gateway. Yeah, it's a gateway podcast.
Okay.
Anyway, check it out. It's on iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker. Not so much Spreaker anymore because the fact is, well, there are some there, but they are limiting how many we can actually store there now. They went down from 10 hours to 5, so there's not a lot there anymore. But you can listen to what's there though if that's your platform of choice. So
they're lost.
They're lost. Fuck them. Free space.
I wish I was that arrogant. I can't be, but okay. No.
No, I hate it when they just suddenly change the rules arbitrarily. It's like, well, we're going to start making you pay for more and more. It's like, that's not the direction the platform is going. We're making it more open, not more closed. So, but anyway, it doesn't matter.
What does matter?
Right. I'm sure someone's going to listen to this on Spreaker and go, wait a minute, he said fuck you, so we're canceling the show.
Gravity matters.
Gravity matters. Anyway.
Matters a lot.
Yes.
These Pokemon creatures are like virtual cyber demons.
Yes, digital demons.
Digital demons. And inside the True News building was a virtual cyber demon. The enemy, Satan, is targeting churches with virtual digital cyber demons.
You keep using the word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
Over in Saudi Arabia, they have a fatwa against Pokemon. This is not a new thing. It's over 16 years old. The clerics, now I didn't realize how many fatwas they've sent out. Apparently this was number 21,758.
That's way too many rules.
That's way too many rules. That is way too many rules. And you wonder why these people want to blow themselves up? I mean, with these many rules, I want to blow myself up too.
It's self-hatred at this point.
It is. It really is.
I just can't even sneeze right. I'm going to blow myself up.
Exactly. I mean...
Oh, my God.
They reissued this, and it wasn't so much because the Pokemon Go game, that would probably be a new one for them. But they're just like, well, I saw this somewhere that they think that if people play this game, it's going to hurt their religion. If your religion is going to be hurt by a game... then your religion should go away because it's a game. Sheikh Salah Al-Fawzan, a member of the Council of the Senior Scholars, said the virtual reality version of the game is the same as the old one. No, it's not. It's not. It's a totally different thing. It's a totally different thing. The other ones, you played with cards, okay?
Yes.
The new one,
card game.
Yeah, the new one. You don't need cards. You just go and collect things. You just walk around and you go, oh, well, there's this creature there, and you grab it, and it's like, okay, done. And then you go to the Poke Gyms, and you can, or the Poke Stops, or whatever. I was going to show this last week when we brought these up. I didn't get a chance to. I just want to show you some pictures I took of the game just to prove that I had actually done this. Now, these are some of the Poke Stops along the way that I had discovered. This was one of them. There's this... This is a thing, people. There's this Jesus statue along this route I take in the mornings in this guy's yard. Apparently it's a Pokestop. It's in the middle of nowhere. If you're out walking in the middle of nowhere and you have a Pokestop right there, I feel very sorry for you because you should not be out there unless you're in a vehicle. Here's another one. Now this one is in the city of Marshfield. This picture, it's all snow covered. I don't know why it's snow covered. It's not snowing out. They should take pictures from like current day, I would think, but this was a thing there. Now this was at some of the churches there. This was at one church. This was another one. Now this wasn't a church, but this was a cemetery. Now this was in Wisconsin Rapids.
Yep. Yeah, because it's religious. My son, we drove by a big cemetery on our travels the other day, and yeah, he caught Pokemon and a Pokeballs, and
Yeah.
you know.
Dawkins said, yeah, but we all know how talking animals can fuck up God's plans. Yeah, they can, apparently.
Yeah.
Oh, and there was one more picture here. Now, this one was at another church. Now, this one was in Stevens Point. Now, I didn't add this picture. It was during the day and early morning when I drove by this particular one, but apparently this was a nighttime thing that someone had taken this picture, and apparently I think it was winter in this instance as well. So, yeah. Torvin says, Pokemon Go map is based off of the Ingress map. All the hotspots in Pokemon Go were hotspots in the Ingress game first. Just barely anyone plays Ingress. I had never even heard of Ingress, which goes to his point.
Me either.
So I wanted to share those with you last week. We kind of got side-railed, and I completely forgot, but there they are.
Well, did we mention last week that evidently Westboro Baptist Church isn't just a Pokemon center; it's a Pokemon gym.
Yeah, it's a Pokemon gym,
and they have a Pokemon on there that's power is 666.
It's power 666, and it's a pink. It's a Pokemon of love. Yeah, they called it the Pokemon of love or something like that. I'm like, okay, that's brilliant. So. And they're protesting this, like, you can't put a gym here. Like, how does that interfere with your life? You don't even know it's there. Unless somebody
hate everything at this point. You hate everything. Like, what do you care?
Exactly. Religious people, when it comes to anything that's fun, you really suck. If it doesn't involve getting on your knees, putting your hands together, and screaming, "Oh God!" for whatever reason.
Pokemon players are doing that. They're putting their hands on their cell phones.
Right.
And they're shaking it around and saying, gotta catch them all. It's their invisible thing. But they acknowledge it's an invisible, imaginary thing.
Yeah.
They just hate that their imaginary God isn't the center of everybody's fucking attention.
Oh, exactly. One of the other things here with this imam, the reason why he says he doesn't want people playing the Pokemon game, because he thinks it's going to involve gambling practices, and players will forget about their religion, apparently, too. But, the thing here is, though, because that's un-Islamic to gamble. I got news for you, fucker. Really, I do. And if you're... I seriously doubt you'll ever hear that. But the fact is, though, your followers, as soon as they leave the country, they start engaging in all the things that they're not supposed to do. Because they get to get away from people like you, at least for a little while. Because they have no experience with it, then they go overboard, and then they become assholes. It's like someone who has never touched a drop of alcohol, and then he decides to go out one night and decides to get blitzed. Because he doesn't know what he can handle, and he just becomes a real jack-off at that point. But as far as the gambling practice, he has one little point on that. Because humans will gamble on anything. If you put people together, they're really bored to say, all right, they see people as like, okay, I bet you that soda can over there is going to fall down the next breeze or whatever, because they're bored. They will find reasons to bet.
It's competition.
Yeah, it's just competition.
It's competition, which is, we're hardwired to be competitive.
Right.
Down further in this article, Pokemon isn't the only game to draw the ire of the clerics.
Yeah.
In January, the Grand Mufti, Sheikh, Abuzizi, something, issued a fatwa banning chess, calling it a waste of time and money. And I was curious because I'm like, wait, I thought chess came from Persia, which is a Middle Eastern, isn't that...
I think you're right. I think you're right. Another thing I got to say to that guy.
Sure.
Just because he thinks it's a waste of time doesn't mean shit. I think playing Pokemon Go is a waste of time. That's my opinion. But I'm not going to say you can't play it because I think it's a waste of time.
No.
If I say you can't play it because I think it's a waste of time, you can say, hey, Packard, go fuck off. And you'd be right to.
Be right to say that. Exactly.
Right. And Muffy, whatever you are,
Muffy
the Sheik, Muffy the Sheik Slayer, whatever the fuck you are, go fuck off.
Exactly.
Go fuck off.
His dictates need to die.
Yeah. There's no reason for you to say this stupid shit. Your religion sucks. Everything that's anybody has fun with, you want to destroy because it doesn't go with your holy book, nobody gives a shit. Nobody gives a shit. And the people that do give a shit are just fucking assholes.
Well, no wonder they have suicide as a declaration of,
Yeah. Like I said, if I was under all these rules, I'd blow myself up too.
It would look really attractive. I just have to say.
But you know what? I blow myself up when we do these shows. I just, but I do that, verbally.
What do you need? What do you need? Anyway, better story than the Bible.
Better story than the Bible.
Your own personal Jesus. Someone to hear your prayers. Someone who's there. Your own personal Jesus.
We have a big problem in this country with a lot of smaller city municipalities that when they have meetings, because they have to have meetings, they want to open up with, "Oh, Jeebus, please grant the water to be great, and fuck everybody that doesn't agree with us, and
the after meeting at the steak place to be disease-free."
Yeah, and the steak place that we're gonna go and spend the taxpayers' hard-earned money on. I mean, we're not really doing that, but don't tell anybody. Shh. They do this invocation at the beginning of these meetings, which is unconstitutional. But because of a Supreme Court ruling in some states, I don't know if this is a state Supreme Court ruling, or if it's a federal one that went out, because we had some idiots on our Supreme Court, our Supreme Court anyway, that said, hey, if you want to do that, go ahead. But here's the kicker. If you do that, you have to let everybody else have a vacation if they ask, because this is not a Christian nation. Christians cannot get over this point, and they think, well, there's more Christians here, so it's a Christian nation. I've heard this argument a million times. Everybody has an asshole in this country. Does it make it an asshole nation too?
Wait, let me think about this one, because this current election cycle, that might be true. Oh my God. Everybody who looks at America, don't look at us. Our asshole is showing.
Our asshole is showing. Don't look at us. Don't look at us.
Don't look at us. We don't.
Anyway, the reason why I bring that up is
yes.
Over in Arizona, the lawmakers there were forced to suspend prayers before city meetings after a local satanic group insisted on giving a prayer of their own. According to the Washington Post, the Phoenix City Council voted 5-4 to replace the traditional prayer for a moment of silence before each session, rather than to allow the local Satanist group to have a chance to speak out. Now, not everybody is happy with them over this. They were saying, well, this is what the Satanist groups want. A moment of silence, basically banning a prayer. It's agreed to that the Satanist goal is to ban prayer. Their goal is
found us out.
They found us out, Connie. They found us out. Well, they found them out anyway. First off, you idiots over in Arizona, you're not supposed to be doing it anyway. Now they're trying to say, hey, well, we want to get on the next ballot that they've got to bring prayer back. You can't vote to have prayer done. You just can't do it. I'm sorry, you just cannot. The local religious leaders organizations, obviously, as I just said, they're not pleased with the results. He goes, I'm not for this silent prayer.
Silent prayer.
Silent prayer. I got to say it out louder. It doesn't count.
I want everybody to know how devoted to God I am. I will stand up for God.
Yeah, this is the local pastor, Darlene Vasquez, that said this at the city meeting. I want those who believe in the one true God to pray. It breaks my heart to what's going on. Fuck off, bitch. Fuck off.
Okay, the one true God, then let's do a little test like in the Old Testament where you want to pray and make the fire of God rain down on a whole bunch of, mesquite wood that you've soaked with water and light it.
Right.
You want to show that your prayers are really effective, then prove that they're effective.
Prove it, right. No, they say, oh, you can't test God. That's a test. It's right in your goddamn Bible. That's a test. The Phoenix mayor, Greg Stanton, one of the 5 city council members who voted in favor of the ban, said that in an effort to silence particular groups like the Satanic Temple could land the city in an expensive legal battle that the city would lose. Ding, 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 ding! He got it. He actually got it. He's like, whoa, you know what? If I keep doing this prayer thing, because if we let them in, everybody's going to start freaking out, and we can't have that. So I think it's probably better to just not do this thing. I think, I'm willing to bet you they're going to say, hey, let's just lay low, and maybe in a year or two we'll just bring it back quietly and see what happens.
Exactly. I think that's exactly what's happening. He's looking at the money. He's looking at lawsuits.
Absolutely, he's looking at the money. There's an old saying, and I've said it on this show before. Money talks, bullshit walks.
Yep.
I didn't learn a whole lot of shit from my dad. That was the one thing he's ever said that was worth anything that ever fell out of his mouth. That's it. He also went on to say the First Amendment to the Constitution is not ambiguous on this issue, Stanton said. The discrimination would violate the oath that all of us took on this dais. I personally take that very, very seriously. So he's on his...
Days. He means
days.
Stage. Days is the word for stage.
Okay, days.
But anyway.
I thought dais. Well, that's what I thought. I wasn't sure. But he's right in that instance. He's absolutely right in that instance. By saying, okay, we're not going to let these people in here, if we're still doing it ourselves and we say, you can't do this thing too, that violates separation of church and state. You're invoking religion then. You're saying that you are endorsing one religion over another.
For all the people who say that these lawsuits are about LGBTQ rights or, atheism rights, are just people with a money grab, I'm not making a cake. This is why. It's because that's what it takes for the religious people to realize, somebody's going to push back. All of a sudden, I don't get to bully everybody into submission and silence.
Yeah.
And I just want to say that Dawkins Dog and Tor Varin have some really awesome comments in the chat room right now.
Dawkins says, the Bible says not to be a hypocrite and pray out loud. It says to go into your room and do it in private. I was going to bring that up. I didn't get a chance to. But I was going to. There was one of the comments that actually said that same thing. I was going to read that, actually. But he did hit it right on the nose, too.
Yeah.
And this Darlene lady, she's like, well, we want to make sure everybody sees us praying. No, then you're a hypocrite. Not that I believe Jesus said this, because I don't believe Jesus actually existed. But it says in the Bible, he said, don't be like the hypocrites and pray down on the street corners where everybody can see you. Go in your closet and pray and be quiet and silent. Do it alone, where only you and your God can be together. Because if you do it out there, then you're just trying to say, hey, look how better I am than everybody else because, hey, I believe in God. This isn't
communication with God, and it's to make yourself look good.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Dawkins continues on and says, which is further reason why prayer is much like masturbation. I don't know about that because I've never masturbated in a closet. Maybe I'm missing out on something. I don't know. Maybe I should try it, But
TMI. Right.
That's a different kind of masturbation. That's mental masturbation. If you guys want a moment of silence, I have no problem with a moment of silence. I would actually prefer, overall, you just get to goddamn work. You come into business, okay, let's get to work, solve the city's problems. This moment of silence, you're eating up tax dollars. Every moment you waste time doing something that your taxpayers are paying for, you're wasting their time. You're wasting their money.
Yes.
So this moment of silence, I have no problem with it. It depends on how long the moment is. But these prayers, I didn't pay for those prayers. I don't want you to start invoking shit that's going to cost me money.
It's the Onion Radio News.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it isn't.
We've been talking a lot about Pokemon Go tonight, and people are just fascinated with this thing. I have no idea why. I just can't wrap my mind around it. I'm sorry, I just can't. I said this at the beginning of the show. I just don't get it. Some people just love this. I've seen people in weird places just standing around just like woo, 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 woo. And it's great fodder for the comedians. They did this one thing. I saw it was from a clip from Saturday Night Live where this guy is trying to capture all the minorities at the RNC. You know, it's like he's like, oh, I caught an Asian man. You know, I caught a black man in a hat. You know, cowboy, stuff like that. And it's just fucking hilarious. But the funniest part of it is that it's actually catching criminals too, because they're getting caught up in all this crap as well. Apparently, a Pokemon Go player by the name of William Wilcox was arrested Thursday morning for an outstanding arrest warrant after the police in Milford, Michigan saw him playing Pokemon Go outside of a police station, which is also a Pokemon gym. He said that it made our job much easier for us, the Milford Police Chief Lindenberg told Fox Detroit. Officers said the 24 Wilcox was in his pajama pants standing near a flagpole when they recognized him from the rap sheet that includes from a 2014 conviction of receiving stolen property, according to the Smoking Gun. The officers checked records that discovered Wilcox was wanted on misdemeanor warrants and failure to appear on breaking and entering charge. He was taken into custody without incident while he was trying to capture the character at the flagpole. Either he forgot he had a warrant, or he just ignored it, thought maybe, they forgot about me, nothing's going to happen. So I think he was more upset that he had to forced to stop playing the game. He was released on his own recognizance and will probably be playing Pokemon Go until his next court date later this month. I just hope he's not out playing Pokemon Go when he's supposed to be in court. Connie, your thoughts?
Well, something got caught.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would say it's a Snorlax or
I think it's a Crimaball.
I just some of the more Psyduck. Yeah. Actually, Psyduck, because that's how you say his name, Psyduck.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he even looks kind of like a Psyduck. I'm looking at his mug shot.
He does have a round head, yeah.
Yeah.
I just hope he does. I just hope he makes it for his court date instead. He said he's out playing Pokemon.
Well, if he's in a Pokeball, then all they have to do is just throw it. And
yeah. Well, his Pokeball will be a 5x5 prison cell. Otherwise,
in the old days, he would actually have a Pokeball attached to his leg.
Yeah. I think that a lot of them. I think they still do that. I think that's still a thing. Actually,
I love that he was in pajama pants. I mean,
yeah.
This is the perfect slacker kind of image, and maybe we don't need to fuel that quite so much.
Yeah. No. I don't be out catching Pokemon in your pajama pants. I'm not making a fatwa.
Have a warrant for your arrest.
Oh yeah,
right?
absolutely. Yeah, I'm not making a fatwa or anything on this. I'm just saying, it's not fashion sense. You wear what you want, I suppose, if you want to. I really don't care. But just saying, just in case you decide, just in case you have a record and you get picked up by the cops, that's not a shot that you want to have in the prison. It's like, pajama pants.
Is that a flagpole, or are you just happy to see me?
Right, exactly.
Blame it on the goose, got you feeling loose. Blame it on the Tron, got you in the zone. Blame it on the alcohol. Blame it on the alcohol. Blame it on the vodka. Blame it on the Henny. Blame it on the blue cat, got you feeling dizzy. Blame it on the alcohol. Blame it on the alcohol.
We've been covering Pokemon stuff pretty heavily tonight, and that's not going to change.
Are we poked out?
I'm not poked out yet. Not quite yet. Not quite yet. We're almost there. We're almost there. A man over in New Zealand has decided to really catch them all because he decided, I've been working for 6 years. I need a break, and I'm going to just go and catch all these Pokemon professionally. There's a picture of him standing outside of a building with his hand in his phone like this.
Where's this?
And the picture is titled Professional Pokemon Player. Am I a professional Pokemon player? Because I got my hand on my phone and I'm going like this. I mean, come on, really? The thing is here, his mother approves. Yeah, make your own jokes there, people. Make
24, lives at home. Yeah.
So he's having fun with his 15 minutes of fame. The comment section here, these people were not really kind to him. And rightfully so. They are admonishing this guy big time. Some of the comments, this one person says, "Oh my God, he's a 24-year-old man, not boy, that needs a break after working 6 years."
They don't know that.
Well, actually, he does. He's 20. It says it right there in the article. Glad his mom backs him 100% because he's living in their basement for many years to come. Just him and his smartphone. I'm kind of with this person on this, just a little bit actually, because yeah, but he doesn't have any wife. Doesn't have any wife. Any wives? He doesn't have any wives. He doesn't have a wife. He doesn't have any kids. No responsibilities, and his job, he was a barista. Oh my God, the stress. The stress!
All day long is just coffee.
Yeah. If he's got the money for this, and his family is obviously taking care of all his bills because he's going to walk around New Zealand for however long it takes to get the 151 different ones. Oh, but you know what? They'll probably add more. So he'll never be done. And they're going to say, you know what? Put the goddamn game away. Be done with your obsession. Go back to fucking work. I'm sorry.
Be as miserable as the rest of us.
Right.
That was sarcasm.
I know. I got it. I see what you did there, yeah.
Oh, I do get it. The jokes about this is, especially when his mom is the one commenting. It's like, oh, okay, that explains some of this. And not everybody who's playing Pokemon Go have been living in their mom's basement.
No, this is like the Star Trek phenomenon. It's just it's like the Star Trek phenomenon. Star Trek players or people who play Star Trek or do the whole Star Trek thing. They think, yeah, they're living in their mom's basement and they don't have a life and they have no skin tone or anything like that. Well, at least he has that. I mean, he's be able to get out and get some sun or moon or whatever. I guess it depends on what he's out doing it, I suppose. But in all reality, go ahead. If this makes you happy, go ahead and do it. I really don't care. I just think his justification is stupid, though.
At 24, he would have started right outside of high school, and maybe he doesn't. Okay, it's gonna be justifying, and this is not the onion. This is the lighter part of everything. But I have a son that he's. I don't understand. And never mind. I don't understand how come getting married and having kids and being stuck in a dead-end job makes you an adult, though. And that's what the comment section is doing. I'm like, wait, you're not making this look attractive at all.
Right.
Why can't you just grow up and be miserable like the rest of us?
Just grow up and be miserable.
Out babies and no, what is the point of living? And it's a game. He's 24. Actually, doesn't it say that he's going to play it for so many months and then he's going to be done? He'll come back and he'll, maybe make a better life, career choice or something. I don't know what he's going to do.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't. I'm looking through the article. I don't see him where it says he's going to just do it for a certain amount of time.
Oh,
but
okay, I saw that, but
yeah,
but okay.
Well, it does say he says, "I've been working for 6 years. I was desperate for a break, and Pokemon gave me a chance to live that dream." If you needed a break that bad, you could have used any excuse at that point.
Oh, Curry plans to take a 2-month trip around New Zealand.
Oh, there it is, 2 months.
Catch now, okay, there's people who go through college and then they decide that I'm going to tour Europe. I'm going to backpack Europe.
Yeah,
now,
that's true.
I don't have that kind of cash, and
no, neither do I.
But there's a really good reason to see the world,
right?
To walk around and find your place, because it helps you find your place in the world, how small you are, how big you are, and you can see all the way other people live. And I'm an artist, so
the thing is for me though, he's not leaving his own country. He's just walking around his own country to do this.
It's true, but maybe he can't afford to do anything else. He's a barista.
Yeah, he obviously got the money to squander, I guess. I'm in the wrong line of work. If baristas are making this kind of cash where he can just go out and just... Oh, that's right. He's living with his mom. He has no bills. All the money he's been making, he could spend on whatever he wants.
Him.
What's that, Connie?
She loves him.
She loves him. There's no doubt about that.
That is very true.
There's no doubt about that. If she didn't, she would have taken his phone, going like this, snap, go back to work, you lazy bum.
Very bitter. You're a very bitter man.
I'm just saying. That's what I'm just saying. If she didn't, she would have gone, snap.
Oh, anyway.
It's not me. I wouldn't have done that. I would have said, okay. The thing is, though, you mentioned it right there where, they after they've gotten out of college, they're going to do this. Actually, in that instance, I don't have a problem with that either because you made an effort to go do a thing. You went to go make an effort to, better yourself. How is being a barista bettering yourself other than you're serving coffee? I'm sorry, I don't see the connection. I just don't see the connection myself.
Is this the let's talk?
No, it's not. I'm just saying.
I would be glad to talk about that because there's a whole bunch of reasons why people aren't able to go to college. They can't afford to go to college, and they aren't trained in anything like a career. And they, they look at the life ahead and they say, "Wow, dead end job. You know what? My parents, my mom, my dad, they're supporting me, and so I'm just gonna go do this fun thing."
Yeah, I suppose there's worse things they could be doing. There are supposedly worse things they could be doing.
Oh, and we talk about them every week, don't we?
Oh, yeah. Yes, we do. There was one comment I just have to bring up because it's not because I agree with it. It's just a base comparison between how the life we used to live many years ago. This person says, just think, over 7 years ago, men his age and younger were fighting and dying in order to stave off a Japanese invasion of their homelands. Now he's off on the adventure of his life, quote unquote, chasing digital creature. Interesting. That's actually the whole quote there. So
and I do understand that. I mean, that was a point where you were mature and you were taking care of yourself. But again, it comes back to you were marrying, you were doing this and that. And actually, Ashley Jones next after Henry says, I consider building Pearl Harbor just as much of a threat as the attack on it. It was an outpost, and so. Again, it's more deep than this is not the Onion. I don't want to be too overly serious.
No, but there was one more comment here. Now, this is from someone who actually lives in New Zealand. Said this is very much in character of New Zealand. People here don't take life so seriously. He's just taking a 2-month vacation, traveling the country while he's doing this, playing Pokemon. We are lucky.
A walkabout.
Walkabout, yeah.
Isn't that what they call it in Australia?
Yeah, they just call it walkabout there. We are lucky enough to live in a place that pays high enough wages to save and has enough job opportunities that he can get one when he gets back. Well, I should hope he does. What if they get back and say, are you sure you're not going to go take off on another Pokemon adventure? I'm just kind of curious if they would be looking like, what'd you do the last, well, you were not employed between these two. What happened? I was like, I was out catching them all. How do you put that down on a resume?
If we lived in a society that supported your podcasting or my art, the way that, there was a way that we could have a Joe job and be able to take a few months and just do what we loved.
Sure. And
not have to worry about our bills. That'd be fucking awesome.
Yeah, it would be. It would be.
It really would. And and thank you for pointing that out because I did not know that because I haven't traveled the world. I mean, I haven't caught them all, so.
No, I haven't either. I caught, I don't even know how many I caught. I really don't care. As soon as the story was over, from last week, I said I was going to delete the app. I did that. I got rid of it. It's not on my phone anymore. I'm not out catching squirtles and squawkles and dickles and whatevers. So.
Only one of those is a real Pokemon. Shall we do True or Troll?
Yeah, well.
I know the answer to this one.
Yeah. Dawkins said if he can afford it, good luck to him. Plenty of people go backpacking for a year at his age. That's true.
Yes. I'm envious of that. I think that I would have loved to have backpacked across Europe. I would have loved to have even just one country, Italy or Greece or Spain or England. I would have loved that.
Yeah.
That would have been an adventure.
Yeah, well, yeah, I would have liked to have done that too, but when I was growing up, I mean, when I was that age, I was working early morning to evening, and of course, I'm pole folk. I'm pole folk. I have no choice. I have no choice in it.
I was having my third child.
Oh,
at 24.
I wasn't. I was 24. I don't think I even had my first child at 24. So,
yeah,
or at least one. Maybe it was one was on the way. I think I was trying to survive in a car in the middle of winter. So, and I'm not even kidding about that.
Those are choices we make.
Yeah, this wasn't a choice I made. This was not a choice I made. This was the choices that were dictated to me. So different.
And what a dick! And what
a dick life was to me at that point.
Exactly.
You say I'm always talking. Yeah, whatever you say.
We had YouTube comments, and we love your comments. Please keep them coming. And if you have a really interesting comment, we're going to put it here on the show or rate it here on the show. Our latest comment here is from Evilness Akai Danny. She came to our chat room when Michael Bloganism was here. She hasn't had a chance to come back lately because she's been really busy. At least that's what she said in one of the threads on the show. And she mentions on the last Pokemon story that we covered, at the time that we did the broadcast anyway, she says, Canada still doesn't have Pokemon Go, sad face. Freedom of religion! Unless you're not a Christian, then fuck you! You guys should read through the Quran when you finish the babble.
The bibble?
The bibble. The bibble.
The bibble.
The bibble. With her tongue sticking out face there. It says, holy fuck, Pokemon Go is a Christian tracker? I don't want it anymore.
We have to know where they're at.
Yeah, we gotta keep an eye on them.
We gotta watch them all.
Yeah, we gotta watch them all. Gotta watch them all.
Antichrist.
Yeah. I am the Antichrist. You are too. Anybody who technically does not believe in God and goes up against God is technically Antichrist. Yeah.
The spirit of Antichrist. Yes.
Apparently we're the Antichrist, so just saying.
That's what happened. I was infected.
Yeah.
What can I say?
Infected.
There's no cream. I went to my pharmacist. I said, "Is there a cream for this?" Because now all of a sudden, I used to be a Christian, and now I'm an Antichrist. And he said, "Nope. It's not over the counter." What can I say?
Best joke ever, and I didn't think of it.
Oh, thank you. Well, you could write it down because it'll be out there forever in the interwebs.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Oh, anyway.
So anyway, we got to get out of here anyway.
Yeah, no, we do.
Yeah, we got to get out of here.
I've already been out of there a couple times.
Yeah, I know. We had a little technical difficulties. If you're listening to this archive, I'm going to edit all that shit out. You won't even know that actually happened. So
it's not going to make any sense. But
yeah, that comment otherwise won't make any sense. Like, what the fuck is she talking about? So yeah, we had a little technical problems early in the show. So
called my husband.
This is why you got to
fighter. Yeah.
Yeah, this is why you got to come to the live show. Because we have a drinking game. Every time we have a technical situation, everybody drinks. Except for me, because I'm doing the show. I can't drink. Otherwise I would be stone drunk on my ass by the time the end of the show ended.
And head on the desk.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll be back next week with our Let's Talk segment because it's our end of the month. Our guest is going to be Steve Shives. He's going to be joining us.
Excited.
So I'm pumped. I'm thrilled. So he's going to be joining us. So tell your friends, tell your family, tell your enemies. Say, hey, come watch our Okay Let's Talk. What we're going to talk about, don't know. We have some ideas. I have a few ideas. I've been rambling around through my brain, but I don't know what we're going to talk about exactly. It may be completely different. We've had a few suggestions. Thank you for the people who have made suggestions.
Sweet.
So.
Love that.
Yes. If you have suggestions, please post them on our Facebook page or send them to me on my Google+. It's just Packard Sonic, all one word, on Google+. It's the plus, Google Packard Sonic. You can send me suggestions, what you think we should talk about. Anyway, until next week, this has been Packard Pokes At. We just poked at your news.
And that's a wrap.